Hey everybody. So for this video, I really want to talk about what makes a good movie. So in my previous videos, I might have talked about, this makes a good movie, this doesn't make a good movie, this is what makes a bad movie. But for this video, guys, I just really want to talk about how I feel when I watch a movie, why I like certain movies, why I don't like certain movies, why I like that aspect of a film, why I don't like maybe that other aspect of that other film. So this video is all about what I feel makes a good movie. So whenever I watch a movie, you guys, my number one thing I look for is the storyline. If you don't have a good storyline, you're not going to have a good movie more than likely. Um, with storylines, guys, it really has to get the viewer involved. I like when a film really invites you along for the ride that it's trying to do. Any film, like for example, I didn't like the film Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy because I felt it didn't invite the viewer. I felt like I was watching a film through a window and I wasn't invited to the experience. It felt like I was watching a film where someone just assumed that I knew about this and assumed that I knew about that, and it wouldn't let me be a part of the action. It just let me kind of just be there, but not be there at the same time. Um, so for me, like for example, my all time favorite film is Iron Man. And with Avengers that came out recently, I really like Avengers, and I really like The Dark Knight. Why are those films good? Because they have a good storyline. They invite you along for the ride. Um, so storyline is a very important aspect, you guys. Another quality of film that I really enjoy, or an aspect of film that I like to see in a film, is character development. I want to see the characters change, or I want to see something that happens to the character where they improve upon. Like, if you really care for what that character does throughout the movie, if they have a good heart, if they do community service, and so on, why do we care about them? Um, Expand upon that. Make them like us. Let us like that character more at the end of the film than we do at the beginning of the film. And if they're a bad character, maybe they change into a good person by the end of the film. So character development is a very important aspect, you guys. It's always make sure that you have to either change your character, improve upon them, make us like them. If they're not a likable character, what makes us like them near the end? All of those are important things to making a good character development in your story. Um, and my number one point here is to give us a reason to care about the film. Um, Roger Ebert said in a review for Tim Burton's Batman, he said that he really wasn't given a reason to care about the movie. And I would argue with Roger, and I would say we were given a reason to care. If Batman didn't succeed, the Joker would have turned the city into a horrible place. He would have um, he would have made it a place that nobody would want to live in. But in a way, we'd be forced to be a part of it because of all the gas bombs and harmful things that he had in his inventory to make people be a part of this experience that we would never want to be a part of. Same thing with The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's Joker was somewhat along the same line. He was more chaotic. He would do things, and he would scare people, and he would make people uncomfortable about themselves and about the people around them. And so we're given a reason to care because if the Joker isn't stopped, people are going to forever live in fear, and we're not going to be able to live the lives that we always want to live. So give us a reason to care about the story. If it's just a film that, and I really don't like comedy films that do this too, where it's just a bunch of jokes, or if you're watching an action film where it's just a 2 hour car chase, we're really not really given a reason to care because the whole movie was like that, and by the end of it, we have no reason to go back to it. So give us a reason to care about the movie. Um, Another important thing too is the director's persuasion. If the director can't persuade you to think a way that he wants you to think by the end of the film, more than likely his film isn't good enough, or her film isn't good enough. Um, to me, if your film is like, let's talk about Transformers for a second. If Michael Bay really wants to get the impression that the Transformers were cool, that that Shia LaBeouf's character managed to get this Megan Fox character by the end of the story, keep the relationship together. Um, if you really want us to believe that these Transformers are worth our time, they're worth our time for a sequel, sequels in this case, uh, what is he trying to persuade to us? And to me, by the time he got to Transformers 3, all that got thrown out the window. it was quite clear that Michael Bay couldn't have made a new film for the third time with a certain amount of characters. To me, it's important to persuade us to think some way. If it's a horror film, what's going to make us come back to get that scare again? You got to persuade us to believe that you know what you're doing and that there's something cool or interesting or unique and new about your film to make us always want to come back to it or want to see a sequel or a remake or a reboot for it. How well is the film based off its genre? This is another important aspect. If you're making an action film, what makes it a good action film? If you're making a sci-fi film, why is it a good science fiction film? If you're making a comedy, what's funny about it? If you're making a romance film, what's romantic about it? So this is kind of another point about film that's really not hard to fail unless if you really don't put a lot of time and effort into it. Um, it's quite simple. If your movie's not about what you promised us, we're not going to like it because you didn't promise what we were going to get. So that's another aspect of film that's very important. Um, and this point is actually brought up a lot in film. This is my last point for the video too. And this is actually the reason why a lot of films win the Best Picture award and why some films don't win the Best Picture award at the Academy Awards. So this is another aspect of film that not only do I expect in the film, but critics everywhere expect this in the film as well. And that's the messages in the film. By the time we're done watching it, what's the message that you're trying to give us? If something bad happened in the film, what was bad about it? And what do we say to ourselves saying, how could I improve my life so this doesn't happen to me? How could I improve my life so this happens to this good thing that happened to this character that was good? It would make my life good too if I did it. If it was a bad movie, not like oh, that was a bad movie. Like if something bad happened in the film or something bad happened to the character, what makes us learn as the viewer so that we don't make the same mistake that the character did? So message is a very, very important part, and it makes a very nice film if you're able to accomplish it. So those are the things about film, you guys, that I really look for. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or feel free to Facebook me or whatever. But these are some aspects of film that I really like to see if a director can accomplish it. I really believe that these aspects make a good film. And like I said, if you have any questions for me, if there's an aspect I missed, feel free to ask me and I can let you know how important or how not important it is to me. But I hope to see you guys for my next video.